Imagine a television stage built to test nerves, confidence, and talent under the harshest possible spotlight. Millions are watching, the judges are seated, and the air carries that familiar mix of anticipation and skepticism that surrounds major talent competitions. A narrator's voice cuts through the tension, framing what is about to unfold as something beyond an ordinary audition. It is presented as a moment that will be remembered, replayed, and debated long after the lights go down. On that stage steps a teenager who does not appear like someone about to disrupt expectations. She looks uncertain, almost overwhelmed by the scale of the moment, as if she is still trying to understand how she ended up in front of such a massive audience. Nothing in her posture suggests dominance or control, only quiet nerves and a sense of vulnerability that makes the room feel even larger. Yet, beneath that hesitation lies something unspoken, something that cannot be measured by first impressions. The audience does not yet know it, but they are about to witness a performance that will redefine how they perceive talent, transformation, and presence. In this setting, even the most seasoned judges lean forward slightly, unaware that the next few minutes will challenge every assumption they have about what a stage moment can become. The quiet girl from Hartlepool and her hidden world. Before the cameras and applause, there is a quieter story rooted in an ordinary town far removed from entertainment industry glamour. The teenager at the center of this narrative comes from Hartlepool, a coastal town in northeast England where dreams of global fame feel distant and almost unrealistic. She is described as shy, reserved, and often more comfortable in private spaces than in public attention. In her world, music is not a performance tool but a private refuge, something discovered alone rather than shaped by industry expectations. While many her age explore trends and social scenes, she spends time immersed in recordings of legendary artists whose voices carry emotional weight far beyond their eras. Names associated with soul and rock influence her imagination, not as distant icons but as emotional guides she studies deeply. In her bedroom, away from judgment, she experiments with sound and expression, not thinking about careers or fame, but about feeling and connection. This contrast between her quiet daily life and the explosive stage she will later step onto becomes central to understanding her story. She is not introduced as someone manufactured for entertainment, but as someone shaped by internal passion long before the world ever pays attention. That foundation becomes both her greatest strength and, later, a source of tension as expectations begin to rise. The audition that changed everything on AGT. When she finally appears on the stage of a major televised talent competition, the atmosphere shifts in a way that is almost immediate and unexpected. Her introduction is soft, her voice barely carrying confidence, and for a moment the audience reacts with polite curiosity rather than excitement. Judges exchange brief looks that suggest uncertainty about what is about to happen. The setup feels familiar, almost routine, as countless contestants have walked onto similar stages before her. Then the music begins. What follows is not a gradual build but a sudden transformation that seems to reshape the entire room within seconds. Her physical energy changes, her movement becomes instinctive, and her voice breaks through with a raw intensity that contrasts sharply with her earlier nervousness. It is not polished in a conventional sense, but it carries a force that feels deeply emotional and uncontrolled in the most compelling way. The audience reacts almost instantly, shifting from quiet attention to visible shock and excitement. Judges respond in real time, their expressions changing as they realize they are witnessing something rare. The moment becomes less about a competition performance and more about a sudden eruption of identity and expression that cannot easily be categorized. In that brief window of time, everything about expectations is disrupted. Viral fame and the sudden rise of expectations. Following the audition, the response is immediate and overwhelming. Clips circulate rapidly across social media platforms, accumulating millions of views within a short period of time. The performance is replayed, analyzed, and shared across different audiences who are captivated by its intensity. News outlets pick up the story, framing it as a breakthrough moment and introducing her to viewers who may never have watched the original broadcast. With this attention comes a sudden shift in her reality. What was once a private passion becomes a public identity shaped by commentary, headlines, and expectations. Interviews, appearances, and media requests begin to multiply quickly, creating a schedule that leaves little room for adjustment or reflection. The industry surrounding her success begins to take form almost instantly, with professionals focusing on branding, direction, and long-term potential. In this environment, her raw talent is no longer just an emotional experience for audiences, but a product being evaluated for sustainability and market appeal. The transition from ordinary teenager to global talking point happens so quickly that there is little time to process what it means. Admiration and pressure begin to exist side by side, and the balance between them becomes increasingly difficult to maintain as attention continues to grow. Behind the curtain of industry pressure, as momentum builds, the structure surrounding her career becomes more complex and demanding. Meetings, studio sessions, and promotional responsibilities begin to define much of her time. Each appearance is evaluated not only for performance quality, but also for image consistency and long-term positioning. While the public sees highlights and applause, the behind-the-scenes reality involves constant adjustment and expectation management. The entertainment world, with its fast pace and competitive nature, begins shaping her experience in ways that are not immediately visible to fans. Creative input from the young artist begins to intersect with external direction from professionals focused on commercial outcomes. This can create tension between authenticity and strategy, especially for someone still developing their own artistic identity. The pressure is not always expressed loudly. Often it exists in schedules, feedback, and unspoken expectations. Over time, this environment can become mentally and emotionally exhausting, particularly for someone still adjusting to public visibility. What once felt like freedom in music gradually becomes structured and directed, leaving less space for experimentation and personal discovery. The initial excitement of recognition slowly mixes with the strain of maintaining momentum in an industry that rarely slows down for reflection or recovery. Growth, creative conflict, and changing identity. As time passes, natural artistic growth begins to emerge, bringing both opportunity and internal conflict. The young performer starts exploring her own musical direction, experimenting with original ideas that extend beyond the style that first brought her attention. This evolution is a normal part of creative development, but in a commercial environment, it can introduce uncertainty. Audiences often associate artists with specific defining moments, and deviation from that expectation can feel risky from an industry perspective. As she begins to shape her own sound, a subtle tension develops between personal expression and external anticipation. Interviews and appearances continue, but there is a growing sense that she is transitioning into something more complex than the initial image presented to the world. This phase of development is often challenging for emerging artists, as they navigate the space between who they were when they first gained attention and who they are becoming. Emotional strain can increase when identity is in transition, especially under public observation. Music remains central, but its role shifts from breakthrough moment to ongoing exploration. The question of direction becomes more significant, not just for her career but for her sense of self within it. Silence, isolation, and the pandemic turning point. When global disruption arrives in the form of a pandemic, the entire entertainment industry slows dramatically. For many performers, this pause is disorienting, but for her, it becomes something more reflective. With performances halted and public expectations temporarily suspended, she finds herself in a quieter environment that allows space for personal processing. In this stillness, music becomes less about output and more about internal expression. Writing and reflection replace constant scheduling, and the absence of external pressure creates room to reconnect with creative motivation. This period reveals how intense the previous years had been, as the contrast between constant activity and sudden silence becomes deeply noticeable. Emotional awareness grows during this time, as distance from the spotlight allows perspective on the pace and demands that had previously defined her routine. However, this clarity also brings difficulty, as returning to pre-pandemic expectations feels more overwhelming after experiencing temporary relief. The transition back toward normal industry activity does not feel seamless. and the difference between internal needs and external expectations becomes more pronounced. What was once momentum now feels like pressure returning after a brief pause. Rumors, concern, and the emotional public reaction. As public visibility continues, moments of uncertainty begin to attract attention and speculation. Online platforms amplify discussions rapidly, often blending fact, assumption, and emotional interpretation. In this environment, even limited information can grow into widespread concern. Fans begin expressing worry about her well-being, especially when communication becomes less frequent. Silence in the public eye is often interpreted as something significant, whether or not official details confirm it. Social media communities react strongly, sharing messages of support alongside theories and speculation. This collective attention creates a wave of emotional engagement that reflects how deeply audiences feel connected to her journey. The narrative shifts from celebration of talent to concern for the person behind it. Public reaction becomes a mix of admiration, protectiveness, and curiosity about what is happening away from the spotlight. In such situations, emotional intensity can escalate quickly, as audiences feel invested in outcomes they cannot directly influence. The result is a global conversation, shaped not only by events but also by perception and empathy, demonstrating how modern fame often exists at the intersection of visibility and vulnerability. Simon Cowell and the weight of recognition. Within this broader conversation, attention turns toward industry figures who first recognized her talent, including well-known television judges. Among them, Simon Cowell is often portrayed as someone difficult to impress, known for his direct feedback and composed demeanor. Because of this public image, any emotional reaction from him becomes a focal point for audiences. In discussions surrounding her situation, moments of reflection attributed to him are interpreted as significant, symbolizing how deeply the performance had resonated beyond initial expectations. Whether expressed through interviews or commentary, his recognition of her uniqueness is often framed as meaningful within the entertainment world's hierarchy of judgment and validation. The idea of a seasoned industry figure responding emotionally underscores the perceived rarity of her impact. It also highlights a broader theme within talent-based media, the tension between professional detachment and genuine human reaction. When individuals known for critique show visible empathy or concern, audiences interpret it as confirmation that something extraordinary occurred. This dynamic contributes to the emotional weight of her story, reinforcing the perception that her journey is not only about performance, but also about the human cost and recognition that comes with it. Legacy, healing, and an unfinished story. As the narrative continues to circulate, attention gradually shifts from shock and speculation toward reflection and understanding. The focus becomes less about isolated moments and more about the broader arc of a young artist navigating sudden visibility, expectation, and growth. In many ways, her story represents a familiar pattern within modern entertainment, where rapid recognition can collide with personal development in challenging ways. At the same time, there is acknowledgement of resilience, creativity, and ongoing evolution. Music remains central to her identity, not as a fixed image but as a continuing process of exploration and expression. Fans remain engaged, but their tone increasingly emphasizes support and patience rather than urgency or demand. The idea of healing becomes part of the conversation, suggesting that artistic journeys are not always linear or constant. Instead, they involve pauses, reinvention, and private rebuilding. Whether she returns to the spotlight in a major way or pursues a quieter creative path, the significance of her early impact remains unchanged. Her story, as it stands, is unfinished, shaped as much by what is still unknown as by what has already been witnessed.